Oh my gosh, the food in Germany is amazing. They do a lot of meat and a lot of potatoes, especially in the east, but if you go farther south, it's a lot more noodles and meat. But either way, it's really good. You have your usual street food. You have your bratwurst, and you have your schnitzel, so stuff that you would be kind of familiar with. But then you have, when you go to eat at members' house, they make these traditional meals that are just spectacular. And one of which is Zwiebelrostbraten. So this is going to sound really weird, but it's really good. And you take a pickle, and you take a piece of meat, and you wrap the meat around the pickle. And then you cook it in a gravy, and it gets that kind of sour flavor from the pickle into the meat, and it's really good. They also have rotkohl, which once again sounds a little different than what you're used to, but is really good. And rotkohl, which is how you would actually pronounce it, is red cabbage that's been pickled, but they eat it with most of their meals, and once again, really good. It takes a while to get used to because it is a little different, but it's basically, it's sauerkraut, only it's a lot sweeter. It's a sweeter sauerkraut. And they usually have it with cinnamon and cloves and stuff in it as well, so it's really good. Pastries, German pastries, everyone's heard of them. They're amazing. They're flaky, they're soft, they're really good. The rolls are amazingly crisp, and you can go out and buy your fresh bread every day if you want to. They have a couple different variations of this pastry, so I'm not even quite sure like which name to call it. But it's basically, so it's a flaky pastry that's kind of made into a nest almost, and then you have pudding on the inside and then fruit on top of it. So like the one I used to get would have blueberries, strawberries, and kiwi on top, and then they glaze it. And you get those fresh, and they're just the best things ever. There was a bakery down the street from us in Rostock that used to make them fresh every week, and we used to go get them all the time because they were just so good. But they also have like Käsebrötchen, which is cheese bread. So if you've ever had an assaggio bagel, that's basically what it is, but it's a roll. And it's great, especially for traveling, because in Germany you take a lot of trains and a lot of buses and stuff, so if you're headed off somewhere and you need a quick breakfast, that's always a good one to grab. Rotkohl can be kind of iffy. That's the red cabbage I mentioned earlier. Some missionaries adore it, some don't. I personally adore it. I think it's great. Either way, they eat a lot of it, so you're going to see a lot of it. Thing I had a hard time with is when I was up on the Baltic, they did a lot of smoked fish, a lot of raw fish that's been smoked, and I'm not a big fish person in general. There were some that I tried, because they ate a lot of it as well. There were some that I tried that were really sweet and really good and tasted kind of like tuna, where it's not that crazy. But then there were some that they had smoked in different kinds of herbs and stuff that I couldn't do it. But honestly, that was probably the most difficult thing I had to eat. Yeah, the food is amazing, so it's not something that will really be too big of a problem. The biggest problem with food, particularly in East Germany, but this is true all over Germany, is they expect you to eat everything on your plate and then accept seconds and eat all of the seconds. A lot of this is left over from the war, where if they're bringing you food, the best way you can honor them is to not leave anything left over. Because if you do, it's just going to waste. And so eating appointments can be pretty intense because you generally have to eat 2 plates worth of food. My very first eating appointment, they had warned me about it, but I didn't take it too seriously. And so I didn't finish my whole plate, and I wound up really offending a lady. And I felt really bad. I didn't think that they actually meant it, but no, it really hurt her feelings. So I got into the habit, and the way I got into the habit is we were visiting this little German man that we would visit once a week. And he made us crepes. And he just kept making them and handing them to us and handing them to us until we ate all of the crepes that he made. And I ate so much food. And it was the first time that I really made myself eat everything. And after that, it got much easier. But that initial eating, although I have a friend who was in the same mission, in the Berlin mission, and she was this teeny tiny little thing who could just eat like 4 times her weight. And she just kept eating and eating and eating, and the members were finally like, you stop, like you can't eat anymore, what's wrong with you? And she's like, but I'm still hungry. And they actually took her plate away because they were like, no, you're done. So food is fun. Food is really fun in Germany. Another big thing that they do is a lot of mineral water, and they usually mix it with juice. So be prepared that that's what you're mostly going to drink. You're going to drink a lot of juice and a lot of mineral water, and a lot of times they're going to be mixed together.